sis, welcome back to my channel. It is me, Candice Renee. Today's video is all things anxiety. So I said in my videos a couple videos ago, I said that I was going to touch on a topic of mental health, and I feel like today is a good day to talk about it because I was on Instagram and I seen some people talking about how do they know that they have anxiety, people talking about panic attacks and things like that. So I wanted to kind of bring it to the channel, really deep into it and talk about my anxiety. So if you guys don't know, I don't know if I discussed it in my video, but I was formally diagnosed with anxiety by a doctor a little bit over a year ago. So I want to talk about my journey with anxiety, how I cope with it, how I found out about it, and everything like that. So we're gonna get all into this. So if you have been struggling with anxiety, whether it's social anxiety, general anxiety, any type of anxiety, health anxiety, anything, I got all of it. So we're gonna talk about it today in this video. This is a mental health discussion. This is a safe place. Just have to put that disclaimer out there. This is a safe place. We're talking about mental issues. I have to give a trigger warning. I will be talking about mental health. Some people are very sensitive about mental health. So if mental health isn't really your thing, I'll see you in the next video. But if you guys want to get into it, let's get into it. So first of all, I want to talk about what anxiety is not. So I've been seeing these past couple months, people use anxiety as like an aesthetic, and it's very weird to me. People use anxiety as a trend, or people say they have anxiety to be cute, and there's nothing cute, trendy, or aesthetically pleasing about anxiety. Just like people say they have mental issues for a trend or anxiety, like no shade, but like I know JT had made a song, in her song, no, not get me wrong, I love JT from the City Girls, but she had said in her song, she was like, bees F with my anxiety. And that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Not throwing shade at JT, because I love JT down, but I just was like, what does that even mean? Bees F with my anxiety. I didn't get that. I'm just like, is that supposed to be cute? Is that supposed to be trendy? Because it just bothers me when people, because anxiety is so hard to deal with. Like, it's not a trend, it's not cute or anything, and I'm gonna talk about it in today's video. So I'm gonna just talk about my journey with anxiety. So all my life I have been super shy, I've been super shy and super quiet, really, all my life. Like, of course I would talk when I need to be talked to, but I always used to have really bad anxiety when I was younger, but I didn't realize I had anxiety. When I was younger, I remember, like, I would be terrified to eat in restaurants. I think I did a video probably like 2 years ago where I talked about my social anxiety and how I was like very terrified to eat in restaurants. If I had to speak in front of a crowd, I would, like, my heart would start beating fast. I would feel like I would be breathing hard, like I would be breathing a little heavier, trying to catch my breath. I feel like I'm about to pass out. It's happened to me so many times when I was younger. If I'm in a crowd of people, too many people around me, and there's a lot of people that I'm unfamiliar with, I would have that same issue. Like, my heart would start beating fast. I feel like I can't breathe. Like, it would just be, and that used to happen to me all the time. Or like if I had to go speak to people, or people used to think I was rude because I would walk into a room, and you know when you walk into a room, you're supposed to speak to everybody in the room. I would literally walk in a room and I wouldn't speak to nobody. And it's not because I'm rude or stuck up or whatever. I literally feel like I'm about to pass out. I'm walking into a room, everybody's staring at me, waiting for me to say something. I literally feel like I'm about to pass out. And so I can't say anything because I'm trying to not pass out. So it's like, it would be really hard for me. I used to sweat a lot. And I thought I had a sweating problem. Whole time, there's a thing called anxiety sweat, where if you start having anxiety, you start sweating a lot. Really kind of feel like I had a problem was like when I moved into my house last year. So I moved into my house that I'm in now around June of 2022. Yeah, we in 2022. So I moved into my house or whatever, and everything was good for like the first few weeks. And then like the second month I was in my house, I'm just laying down, and I had this really bad panic attack. Like, I didn't know what was going on. Like, my heart just started beating really fast. I started getting real dizzy. I didn't know what to do. So I called my mom, because I'm like, I don't know what's going on. My mom's like, can you stand up? Can you walk? Can you see? I'm like, yeah, I can talk. I'm fine. I'm conscious. I just feel like, you know, my mom came over, she's checking like my heart, all the stuff like that. I had a blood pressure machine. She brought her blood pressure machine. My blood pressure was up but it wasn't like crazy, but it was like up, like, you know. And so she was like, well, just drink some water, lay down, I'll stay at your house with you. So I didn't know what was going on. So my mom was telling me that I should go see a doctor just to see, you know, what's going on. Now, mind you, I've always had like these little panic attacks here and there when I was like younger, but like this was a full blown one. And so it was just really, really scary. And I went to go see a doctor, and I went to go see several doctors. So I went to go see my general doctor. Every time, and one thing that I did notice is that I noticed that I had health anxiety. So health anxiety, or what is called the white coat syndrome, is like every time you go to a doctor's office, you have temporary high blood pressure because you're really nervous. Because when you get nervous, your blood pressure rises. When you get mad, when you get whatever, your blood pressure rises temporarily, and then it goes back to normal when you calm down. Every time I would go to a doctor's office, my brain would just think that something is wrong, and I will start to get anxiety. Every time I could be going to the doctor for a checkup, I could be going to the doctor just sitting there, and I would just be nervous. And this always happened to me, even as a kid. It always happened to me. And so like that's when I realized as an adult, I'm like, okay, I actually, like, every time I go in there, so it's called white coat syndrome. You could Google it. It's called health anxiety, white coat syndrome, whatever. It's the thing. And so when I would go there, every time they would take my blood, and it even happens now. Like I have to get my blood pressure taken like 3 or 4 times for them to get an accurate reading. Cause I have to tell the nurse every time, hey, I have white coat syndrome. I have anxiety really bad. So I have to tell them so they can take my blood pressure 2 or 3 times, even 4 times, to make sure, you know, they get the accurate reading. So the doctor that I went to, they took my blood pressure 1 time, and they're like, oh, you have high blood pressure. You have hypertension. And I'm like, so mind you, I'm in my head, I'm like, oh, I have, maybe this is happening to me because I have a high blood pressure problem. So I went and bought, so they tried to put me on blood pressure medication. My mom was just like, my aunt is on blood pressure medication, and she's just like, you don't need to do that. Mind you, I think I was like 20, I'm 27 now, so I'm 26. She's like, you're too young to be on blood pressure medication. It's gonna mess you up when you get older. And then like, well, the doctor told me I need it. So she prescribed it to me, but I never picked it up. So I bought a blood pressure machine, and I started monitoring my own blood pressure to see if I had high blood pressure problems. My blood pressure, you know, you're supposed to check your blood pressure like right when you wake up, right in the morning. Like when you get up in the morning, you go pee, you check your blood pressure. So I get up in the morning, go pee, and I did this for like a month. Every day, wake up, check my blood pressure. I would check it twice a day. Make sure like I'm calm, whatever. I would check it, and then I would check it like right before I go to bed. It was normal. It was normal. Like for a whole month, I had a whole log, write everything out. It's normal. But when I go to the doctor, it's just high temporarily. And then, you know, so then after I did my log, because she wanted me to, you know, check my blood pressure. So after I did my log, I did a log, and I did a log of my blood pressure. Went back to the doctor in like a month, and I'm showing them, you know, my log. And they're like, okay, well, maybe you have anxiety. So I'm talking to her. She's talking to me about anxiety, general anxiety. General anxiety, there's different types of anxiety. General anxiety is the most popular one. It's basically where like you just have multiple anxieties basically. Because you could just have social anxiety, you could have health anxiety, you could have just anxiety in general. Me, I had health anxiety, social anxiety. I have all types of anxiety. So I'm just like, you know, she's explaining it to me, and I'm like, oh, those do kind of sound like the symptoms that I get. So she decides that, you know, she wants to send me to a cardiologist because I did have, you know, my heart was beating fast, I was passed out. So she's like, she wants to send me to a cardiologist. So I'm like, okay, I'll go to the cardiologist. So why did I go to a cardiologist? I don't know. And let me tell you guys something. Do not go to a cardiologist unless you really feel like you need to go to a cardiologist, because, baby, they are expensive. Went to the cardiologist, and if y'all don't know what a cardiologist is, it's a heart doctor for your heart. So I went to the cardiologist. Mind you, it's nothing but old people in there, y'all. Like, I mean, it's people in there that are old. I was the youngest person in there. It was nothing but old people. Like, the old, I mean, I'm not talking about like 50. I'm talking about like 80, 70-year-olds. Like, all these people are very seasoned people. So I go in there, I check in or whatever. So then the nurse at the cardiologist, she's like, oh, you're so young to be in a cardiologist's office. I'm like, right. So they put me on a heart machine to scan my heart. They put all these little things on me, like how you see in the movie. They put all the things on you and they put you on a heart machine and they monitor your heartbeat. Mind you, again, I'm scared because I'm, so again, I have health anxiety, white coat syndrome. So my heart is like beating a little fast, but then it start calming down a little bit. And then they take my blood pressure, and they basically, the cardiologist, he's like, oh yeah, you have high blood pressure. And I'm like, oh, no, I think I just have anxiety or something. Can you take it again? He said no. So that was right there. I'm telling you, they're trying to make money off you. So he's trying to prescribe me blood pressure medication. I'm telling them I don't have high blood pressure. They're not listening. So again, I'm not taking this. So then he decides, okay, well, I'm gonna put you on a heart monitor. He decides to give me this heart monitor. So the heart monitor is like something you wear above your wrist, and then it's like a little patch that you put over your heart. And I had to wear that for like a month. And then what the heart monitor does is like, it sends it's like you do your everyday activities, you go exercise, you go do whatever you do, and they do tell you to exercise so they can see how your heart is when you exercise and all stuff like that. Then you do that, and then you're supposed to, and then it sends the results to your doctor, and then your doctor calls you in about a month to tell you if it's something, whatever. So y'all don't get that unless it's you have to, because baby, that heart monitor that I wore cost $8,500, and my insurance didn't only pay half of it. So it was probably $14,000, and my insurance only paid half. So I'm like paying off the $8,500. I have to do a payment plan of $8,500 to pay that off. And so comes to find out, there's nothing wrong with my heart. My heart is fine. So then I go back to my doctor. They're like, oh, the cardiologist said my heart is fine. He tried to put me on blood pressure medication. I don't know. So then she wants to send me to a kidney specialist. And I'm like, I'm absolutely not. I'm not going to another specialist. What do I need to go to? Why am I going to there's nothing wrong with my kidneys. Why am I going to a kidney specialist? So at this point, I'm like, I'm not going to a kidney specialist. I really think I just have anxiety. Like you told me, you explained anxiety to me. I told you I have it. So she's like, okay, well, we can start you off with a small dose of Prozac and Xanax. So when you have anxiety and you go to a doctor and they diagnose you with it, they try to start you off with Prozac or Xanax. I was not taking no pills for my anxiety. And the reason why I was not taking pills for my anxiety is because anxiety is something that you can cure naturally. It is all in the mind. So if you strong enough, you can do it, because there's a lot of people that take these medications and it makes them go crazy. And then it's like you take a medication for one thing and it messes up something else that was already good. So it's like, I'm not taking medication for that. So then I went to a whole nother doctor because I got a whole new insurance. So I went to a whole nother doctor, if you know what I mean, woman. And so I went to her and I talked to her and she listened. Y'all, I'm telling you, if you need to go to doctors that are, because they listen. The previous doctor before, she was, okay. The new doctor I went to, she was, okay. And when I went to her, I'm talking to her and she's explaining anxiety to me and she's telling me things that I can do naturally. Like, it was like a breath of fresh air going to a doctor, because she talked to me, she told me about things I could do. And when I went to this new doctor and they took my blood pressure, I told them, I said, hey, I have anxiety. The first 2 blood pressure readings you get, they may be a little off because I'm having anxiety and I'm nervous. And they said, okay, we'll take your blood pressure one time. If it seems like it's high, we'll let you relax. We'll let you cool off. We'll give you some water. We'll take it again. If it seems high, we'll take it one more time. If it's still high after the 3rd, 4th time, we may have to, you may have to get some medication. We may have to prescribe you for something for that. So I'm like, okay, fine. Totally fine. Just give me a chance, because when I'm at home and I take my blood pressure, it's fine. I don't eat crazy. I don't eat a lot of salt. I don't eat a lot of sugar. I have a sensitive stomach. I don't eat a lot of that stuff anyway. So I feel like it's just really anxiety that I have. So they do that. So they didn't even have to take it a third time, because once I kind of like calmed down, you know how in the doctor's office they have like that little bed that you can lay on, that they like lay you on or whatever. So I laid down, they gave me some water, I got some water, I'm chilling, I'm on my phone waiting for the doctor. She said, okay, I want to take your blood pressure again. She took it again. It was fine. It was fine. I didn't have it. All I needed was a doctor that listened. And I told her like everything. So when I talked to her, she's like, yeah, you have anxiety. That sounds like exactly what it is. I'm telling her what my symptoms are, and she's telling me, hey, this is what you can do, da da da. She said, even I struggle with anxiety when I was in my 20s as well. I have family members that struggle with anxiety and things like that. She's like, do you struggle with depression? Do you want to talk about depression? And I told her, I was like, I do kind of struggle with on and off depression, where sometimes I do get in moods where like I don't want to talk to people, but I'm never like to the point where, you know, I've never gotten to that point. Well, I have when I was in a very toxic relationship, but recently, no, not at all. So she would talk to me about that, and it was just like such a breath of fresh air to get a doctor. So if you do have anxiety and you're experiencing a lot of panic attacks, because I was having panic attacks back to back to back to back when I first moved to my house. So that's why it made me want to go see a doctor, because I'm making sure everything's fine. And it's really like, I really just had new home anxiety, which I talked about on my Instagram one time. I had new home anxiety. I had just moved to a new house, a whole other side of town. I had a lot of things I was dealing with. I just had a lot I was dealing with at the time. And so it's just like, I took on a lot of pressure, and it really like weighed on my anxiety. And that's when I really realized I had it. So when you do have anxiety, the best thing to do if you are having panic attacks or something is to make sure that you get a doctor that will really listen. This is a suggestion to all of my people, to get someone of, because once I talked to someone of her, it was so much better. So I definitely say get with a doctor that will listen to you, hear you out, really like listen to you. And the doctor, she did not try to prescribe me anything. She did not try to send me to this specialist, that specialist, this person. She literally listened. And I did blood tests. Now, mind you, forgot to say, when I was going back and forth to the doctor, because mind you, I was going back and forth to that first doctor. I was going back and forth to her for like 5 months. Not gonna lie, and I would be taking blood tests like every month. I took a blood test like every month for 5 months straight, and it would all come back good. My blood test, work, urine sample, all of that came back normal. So it was like, at the end of the day, it was really just like anxiety. And it's so crazy how anxiety can really mess with our bodies. It's really like a type of stress that we put ourselves through, that we really don't even have to put ourselves through, but our brains just think so differently. So my advice to people who are struggling with anxiety is, number one, if you do want to go see a doctor just to make sure everything's okay, I would still, if you are having panic attacks a lot, or if you have a really severe panic attack to where it just didn't feel right like I did, definitely go see a doctor. Make sure you see a doctor that you're comfortable with. Make sure you see a doctor that will listen, and don't take medication, the first medication they prescribe you. Like, if they do diagnose you with anxiety and they try to put you on Xanax, Prozac, or whatever else is out there, I'm not telling you not to take the medication, but I'm saying that try to give another alternative a try, and if other alternatives don't work for you, then take the medication. But don't just be so quick to take medication for anxiety. Like, it's just like, if it's to the point where it's messing with your mental really, really bad, where you can't do things throughout the day, then I would say do your research on the medication. Look it up, look up reviews, do extensive research before you get on any type of medication. For anxiety, in my opinion, or any type of mental disorder. Number two, I would say to try to de-stress your life as much as possible. If one thing that I do not do, and one thing that I did do before I got diagnosed with anxiety that made my anxiety really bad, is I would take on so much stuff at one time, and I would put so much stress on myself. And it's just like, if I don't care about no money, I don't care about no opportunity, I don't care about none of that. My mental health comes first, and I never put my mental health first. I never put myself first. If I'm in a situation and it's too stressful, or if it's so much going on in my life, I'm not gonna keep taking on more stressful things when I already have a lot on my plate. I don't care about the money, I don't care about none of that, because at the end of the day, the money and the opportunities and none of that matters if you are no longer here. So it's like, don't make sure that, like, if you don't take on too much to the point where you feel like it's gonna stress you out. De-stress your life as much as possible. If you gotta go to sleep because you are stressed out, baby, go to sleep. Because one thing about me, I'm not gonna stress myself out. I will take a nap. I will take a nap and I will be, no. I will take a nap. I will take a nap and I will revisit the topic later on. I'm not finna stress myself out and make a panic attack come on because I got too much going on and now I got anxiety and now no. Absolutely not. De-stress your life as much as possible. If you need to take that break, take that break. Do not feel like you have to do something because you need the money, because you need the opportunity, you need this. If you got too much going on, leave it. Number 3, definitely start exercising. Now, a lot of people say exercise. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I have not been to the gym. I have not been to the gym. I'm going to the gym on Monday for sure. But for sure, I'm telling you, I really want to go back to the gym. I just haven't been to the gym because I just been really busy, and plus I forgot to pay my LA Fitness bill. But I paid it, so I'm going back. But no, go work out. Even if one thing that I used to do is I used to walk outside of my neighborhood when the sun would be out. I would just go take a walk in my neighborhood, even if it's a 30-minute walk. When going to do some type of exercise and moving your body, it releases, I think it's called endorphins or something in your body. And it's like a feel-good hormone. So it's like it releases when you feel good. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you exercise, you know how when you exercise, your body might be sore, but you feel good. You feel good like mentally, like on the inside, but like your body be sore, but you feel good. I don't know how to explain that. That's what endorphins are. And so do some type of exercise every day. Whether it doesn't even matter if you walk in your neighborhood for 30 minutes, go on a treadmill, lift some weights, do some yoga, do some Pilates. Just move your body. Like, get those feel good hormones in, because exercising de-stresses the body and it really does help. And so I actually need to get back in there and do it, because I started exercising heavy around the time that my anxiety was really, really bad. And it really helped. So it's like, try to get some type of moving in. Another thing too is to watch what you eat. So when you eat a lot healthier, it makes you feel a lot better. So I try to incorporate some type of fruits and vegetables into my diet. I really cut back on eating fat food. So eating stuff with a lot of salt. I don't eat a lot of sugar anyway, because a lot of sugar makes my, I have a sensitive stomach. I talked about this a lot. So I try to eat really healthy. I try to incorporate some type of greens into my life, because greens help. They just really help the body. I don't know the science behind it, but if you like me and you have a trouble eating fruits, because for some reason, like, I'll buy fruits and I won't eat them, but I will juice real quick. So you can buy a juicer. Whole Foods has pre-made cold pressed juices from a juicer that's already made. If you lazy like me, you don't feel like juicing, because juicing take a lot of work. You could buy cold pressed juices. Just eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. Watch what you eat, because when you eat a lot of bad foods, it makes you feel bad. And when you feel bad, when you feel tired, it will up your anxiety, because your body will think that something's wrong with you. But in reality, you just ate a cheeseburger and now you sluggish. But but the way anxiety works, our brains think it's something else and we start overthinking. So it's like, you don't want to do that to yourself. I'm not saying don't eat, because sometimes I do have my little cheat days. I have a little cheat days. I had a little cheat day today, I ain't gonna hold you. But definitely try to incorporate some type of fruits and vegetables into your diet, because sometimes anxiety can come on based off of the things that you eat. So you want to make sure that you eating really good, make sure that you incorporating that into your diet, especially fruits and vegetables. Try to incorporate all that into your diet. Another thing too is to really surround yourself with friends and family. To, like, if you feel like you're having anxiety, if you feel like it, a lot of people don't understand anxiety. My mom, she doesn't understand anxiety at all. She doesn't understand mental issues at all. I think a lot of parents do not understand mental issues, especially parents that were born back then, because my parents, my dad was born in the 60s, my mom was born in the 70s, and back then there was no such thing as mental issues in the household. So it's just like a lot of parents, or a lot of old school parents, don't really get it. And my mom, ever since I got diagnosed with anxiety, she's been trying to educate herself, but she still don't be getting it sometimes. Like sometimes I tell my mom I really got bad anxiety, is just really acting up today. I'm just really not feeling it. And my mom be like, well, get up. So you don't get mad at your parents if they don't understand anxiety, because again, a lot of our parents are old school, and back then there was no such thing as mental health issues in the household. So you just kind of got to educate your parents, you know, and let them know. And another thing too is to stop overthinking. Overthinking literally will bring your anxiety from here to here. Like, one thing that I do when I overthink is I literally catch myself overthinking. So what I will do is if there's a situation that happens, I will learn to just let things go. Like sometimes if a situation happens, my brain will start to over process it, and I will start thinking one thing, and then that one thought will turn into another thought, and it'll turn to another thought, and then I'm in a rabbit hole of thoughts. And at this point now I'm about to cry over absolutely nothing. It has happened plenty of times. One thing that I do is like I catch myself and I stop myself. Or what I'll do is if I get in a situation with, like for example, me and my man, we get into a situation, a little argument. Instead of me overthinking, I will just communicate and be like, hey, can you elaborate on what you mean by that? Sometimes what I'll do is if we get in an argument and he'll say something, I'll just start overthinking it. I'll be like, okay, this man hates me. He hates me. I'm done. Whatever. We're done. Right? But instead of doing that, instead of thinking that he hates me, I'm going to be like, hey, could you elaborate on what you're saying? You know, because I just want to have clarity on what you're saying to me. You get what I'm saying? Instead of me just running with my own thoughts, and then, because it looks crazy to other people when you just run to your own thoughts, and it's like, what are you talking about? Because I've had people who literally be like, Candace, where did you get that from? And I'll be like, my brain. Like, and they'd be like, no. Or sometimes with anxiety too, another thing that I've learned, this is kind of like a social anxiety thing, is to just do it. I know it sounds crazy, but just act on it. Like when you first think about something, just act on it. Like for example, if you have social anxiety like me and you're out in a crowd of people and you want to go talk to somebody, do not think about it. Just go do it. As soon as it pops in your head, just go do it. And I know it sounds easier said than done because it was really hard for me to do this. But like when you sit and think about something too long, especially when you have anxiety, you will literally talk yourself out of it. You gotta just do it. Like you gotta just act. You gotta act fast. Like you gotta act fast. Just do it real quick. Don't think about it, because when you start thinking, sis, them thoughts, they get you out of opportunities. So those are just a couple of ways that I manage my anxiety. I just burped. Those are a couple of ways that I just manage my anxiety that I could think of off the top of my head that I really do. I really hope this video helped you guys. I really hope that you guys really enjoyed this video. If you are struggling with anxiety, this is a safe space. This is a safe space. Okay, I love y'all. And we could talk about it in the comments down below. If you're struggling with health anxiety, if you got white coat syndrome, if you have social anxiety, any type of anxiety, talk about it in the comments below. I would love to talk to you guys about it. And yeah, that's about it. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to this video, and I will see you guys in my next one.